back to another Rosh Reviews, where today we are in an E92 M3 and naturally aspirated V8 up front. The only M3 ever to get one, and boy, this thing is nice. Now just coming around some of these real tight hairpins, mate. BMW M3, the M division, the chassis is just, it is so well balanced. And this car, it's rear wheel drive, 420 horsepower. You come around this real tight hairpin, you drop it down, these real nice burbles from the exhaust, and man alive, this thing moves, and oh, it's just a beast. Now under this glorious bonnet bulge up front, we have BMW's S65 naturally aspirated V8, and this thing is a beauty. 309 kilowatts, 400 newton meters to the rear wheels. Might be light on them pounds-feet of torque, them newton meters, but man alive, when you start getting this car up to its 8,200 RPM red line, oh baby, this thing rewards you. Paired with either a 6-speed manual, which I would love to try. I have not been able to get my hands on one. Or, like we have today, the 7-speed DCT. And this DCT, it's got a lot of good, does have a little bit of bad. We'll get to that later on. Because you know the old saying, mate, you're never late in a V8. And this one too. Now I have just dropped new merch in my shop, including You're Never Late in a V8 t-shirt. So go grab yourself one if you want to support the channel. And mate, let's get back into this E92 M3. You gotta love an S65. Now we do have to say a huge thank you, as always, to Next Ride for loaning us out this particular E92 M3, because this thing is for sale, and actually this is something I really want to touch base on, because these particular cars now are hovering around that $50,000 to $80,000 mark, and I know that's not cheap, but we do have to remember what crazy times we live in, because a dirty old R33 Skyline is gonna run you like $40,000 to $50,000 as well. So it's a crazy world we live in, I know, but these things now, they're kind of hovering around that, yeah, like 45, you'd be very lucky. Around that 50 grand mark, you can pick one up for. And I feel like that's not a terrible price for one of these cars, because especially the E92, the only BMW M3 ever to get a V8. And that is really special. And this car, although it does have some flaws, which we are going to get into, this thing is absolutely brilliant on a back road. It just is so much fun to flat foot, and there are very few cars that give you this kind of experience, and being in an M car like this, it is truly special. This gearbox, it is savage. I mean, it really kicks you in the pants when you up change in this car, which, you know, when you're racing, it's not a bad thing, but oh man. Oh, it is fun to chase 8,200 RPM. I tell you what, this thing is bananas. But really, this is kind of where it struggles, this gearbox, because if you just do have it in drive, you're just cruising around in the city, this thing will chase 7 just instantly. So it'll basically, you know, you'll take off from the lights, and this thing will just go, and it'll be at 7. And that's just, it just stays at 7 until basically you stop, or you give this thing enough pedal that it drops down, which you do actually kind of have to give it a significant amount. But yeah, in a normal driving situation, it is kind of doughy and it's a little bit disconnected, but man, who cares when you're out on a road like this? Running your own gears. Oh man, this thing is awesome. Now, I've been in the C63, I've been in the C63 507 edition, I've been in the RS5, I've been in a RS4 B7, you know, I've been in all of this car's competition, and is this the best one in my particular books? No, it's not. I love the C63 just simply because of that ridiculous engine up front. I absolutely love this car, though, on a back road, and I think this is going to be the fastest car around a track, just simply because of the way this car handles. And, you know, it's got tons of grip, surprisingly. You know, when you have all the modes and the traction controls are on, the steering is just really well balanced. And this thing is fast. Like, it's almost like Honda VTEC fast, because you got to keep it so high up in the rev range. And having a V8 with Honda Type R kind of RPMs, oh, it's sweet. And in the driving position here, look, this thing, it's pretty nice. It's definitely not on the level, I feel, of Mercedes. You know, there is kind of a lot of kind of cheap leather-ish material. There's plastics, kind of this very weird, like, woven faux carbon fiber leather type stuff on the dash. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I guess it kind of looks okay. I don't mind this kind of red interior. It's almost like a burgundy brown kind of red. It definitely kind of looks kind of nice in here. And you know, I do like the wheel. It is basic. It's a lot of plastic on it, but the paddles are actually metal. They feel really nice to change. And as always, you know, he's got an infotainment in there. It's rough, but you can actually watch TV when you're parked, which is pretty cool. And, you know, it's got a decent sound system in here as well. Nice analog gauges. And you even do have a little rev limiter light that comes up over the RPM gauge, which is a nice touch. Oh, the downshifts are just ridiculous. That apex. All the way to 8,000. Oh my God, it just keeps going. Oh my word. Woo! Yep, we better be careful. Chasing 8,000, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble in this car. Wow. Now onto the ride of this particular M car. Look, it definitely is on the harsher side. It's livable for me. You know, being an enthusiast, you can live with this car, don't get me wrong, but you're gonna feel the bumps in the road. Even in its standard settings, you know, it is a harsh car to live with, but man, out here, it really does reward you. It grips, it's flat in the corners, the steering is nice and weighty. Like, in sport mode, dropping down the gears here, you know, you get those little burbles from the exhaust. Oh, it's good. And again, you really gotta keep this thing way up in the RPM range, because it doesn't have enough torque to get up there quickly. But it's weird. Again, it's like driving a VTEC, and in a V8 M car, that is pretty damn cool. Now, as a joke, the engineers at BMW's M division did make a one-off Ute version of this E92. And can you just imagine a mullet-occupying, VB-ordering hoon machine of an E92 Ute? How freaking sick would that be?
A fucking VB long neck at 20 to 8 in the fucking morning. Get that up here.
Now, BMW has never been known for reliability. Let's face that fact, because most of the time, all these are known for is really just drinking oil and leaking all over the driveway. But these E92s with the S65 V8, they actually are pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie, because there is one major issue, and it is the rod bearings. But if you get the rod bearings done, you know, you're gonna spend a couple of $1,000, replace those. From what I've read, from what I've heard, after you do that, these motors are actually pretty damn reliable. Now, 0 to 100, guys, these things are claimed at 4.5 seconds. So Last time I launched one of these, it was pretty difficult to figure out how they go, but I think I remember. So we got to put power on, EDC to the max, DSC has got to be off, and we got to put it into first. DSC off, our max shifts. Come on, checkered flag. All right, we've got a checkered flag. Let's see if we can get this to go. Oh, Jesus, this thing just lights it up, man. Wow, it is such a complicated launch control. Why, BMW? Why do you have to be a neuroscientist to figure out how to launch this thing? But man, when it goes, bro, this thing is just off. Yeah, you totally lose all traction when that happens, but let's find out what we got. 0 to 100 was done in 5.6 seconds, and look, at the end of the day, this thing is just bonkers to try and launch. And you know, if you do get a perfect launch, I guarantee you this thing could do 4.5 seconds, but man, you're gonna have to have a few attempts under your belt on a right road. And yeah, traction is a big issue, but man, this thing is a blast. I really do think though, in the long term, this is a car that is gonna hold its value. And you know, if you buy one and you look after it and you know, take it out on the weekends and you do those rod bearings, this is a car that I don't feel you're ever gonna really lose money on, and you are always going to have a smile behind the wheel. So, you know, as an investment, I mean, it kind of makes sense if you just want to hold it. Now, I'm going to finish the video off here today, guys. So a huge thank you to NextRide for, again, allowing me to take out this E92 M3. This thing is for sale. Link is in the description. What a beast of a car. The only M3 ever to have a V8. And, man, this car does not disappoint. So I hope you guys really did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you're new here. We'll see you on that next video.